Hi, this is Mr. Barch, and this is your first video in our homeostasis unit. And basically, what I want to do is just get you familiar with the homeostasis unit, have you take a couple notes here and there. This website will be up, it will be given to you, be posted on Google Classroom as well. And it will have the objectives that we're looking at. And for each objective, we'll have a video lesson, kind of like this one. And then we'll have a mastery check. A mastery check might be a Google quiz. It might be a paper thing that I have you print out. It might be something that you just write about in your notebook and show me in class. Okay. It also might be something that you collaborate on as we get to more and more difficult lessons. But we'll talk about that as we get going. But again, you can always come back to this website. It works on your phones, and I know you always have those with you. All right. I will also share all my presentations with you. They'll be on PDFs, probably on Google Classroom as well. And an example of this will be like this little handout right here, which is just kind of a reminder about what matters in this class and how we do certain things. This is our must do symbol right here. Okay. It is basically a little guy with some parts because you're taking an anatomy class and we're going to learn parts and terms. And it's going to be difficult at times, but we're going to give you multiple attempts on everything that we do to show that that you've mastered it. And it will help you lead to the next part, which is also a must do in anatomy, learning about processes and relationships between the organs that we study and basically the concepts that we go over in lab and in other situations like that you encounter in reading. And knowing these two things, these are must-dos. These will probably get you like a C or a B in the class if you knew everything for the must-dos. If you want an A or higher, you're going to have to delve into our should-do categories, which involves this homeostasis graph. You'll see this symbol quite a bit for that. And as we're doing our first unit, you're going to see this homeostasis graph because it's a vital component of understanding things, and it's kind of a goal to understand how every system does help us maintain homeostasis. It's also a way that you can write your way out of the final. So it's a should do situation. And then our aspire to do. Now, this might be for those of you that really, really are interested in certain things. Maybe you have a science fair project. Maybe you're doing a platinum project on this. But this would be understanding how our whole body ages and maintains health based on the terms and the processes and the homeostasis mechanisms that you learn. So this is really, really next level stuff. And a lot of you will get there and you'll be able to do the aspire to do things that I ask you to do very easily just because you're really sharp kids. Okay, so again, in this unit, this will be on your tracker that's on your class website. It will basically have your name and your code name, and you can go ahead and look at these symbols. And again, they correspond with must do, should do, okay, aspire to do, and another, I guess, must do. Okay, so right off the bat, we're going to talk about these two issues right here. You're going to see these symbols quite a bit, not only on the internet, but also in your textbook. These are homeostasis symbols. You'll always see like a teeter-totter, like this one over here, maybe not moving, okay? You'll always see little diagrams where basically we start somewhere and then we end up in looping around. And these are confusing at first, but if you really read through them and if you take the time to practice what we're going to do, it's going to help you understand what homeostasis is all about and why these are so featured in your textbooks and in other areas that we'll encounter. So here's right off the bat, what I need you guys to do is draw this graph in your notes. This is our precious graph. It'll really help you figure out some things in life. I think it's a secret to life, but that's just me, and I'm old. So what I want you to do is draw this graph and take time to go ahead and pause the video if you need to and get things labeled as we do this. My handwriting's terrible when I do this, so I have some words set up down below here. You don't need to worry about that so much, just draw the graph. So basically this graph represents how we fluctuate over time. That's why we have the sine wave, okay? Regarding certain set points that your body's trying to maintain homeostasis for. Like this might work for body temperature, blood sugar, it works for every hormone, every nutrient that you need, okay, you have a certain set point for. And that's what this line right here that we're pointing to with that is called the set point. And that will be determined sometimes by your body size, sometimes by your age. Most of the time, it's a variable thing. Like your body temperature varies quite a bit during the course of the day. but it does have a set point between probably about 97 and 99. When you're working out, it goes way higher than that. When you're sleeping, it drops a little bit. So, but we do have set points for everything. So here's how this works. Generally, if we get outside the dotted lines here, if our sine waves goes past the dotted lines, it generally doesn't return to normal without some sort of intervention. That's why we call this an illness. So if you have a set point for a certain value in your body, when we go above the dotted line for that set point, we generally end up ill. Same if we go below. If we drop below the set point, it generally results in an illness, and positive feedback will take over. Like, it will get worse unless you seek some sort of medical intervention. So how this between the dotted lines, though, we can fluctuate quite a bit. And we call this fluctuation within normal limits. All right. Sometimes abbreviated WNL. So you have a big fluctuation on a lot of your variables. Some variables don't fluctuate as much, and these dotted lines are much closer together. And a lot of times it's not symmetrical either. So we'll talk about how this works. But generally, here's the mechanism. Okay. You have a set point, and there'll be an increase in that set point. We'll go above it somehow. Like, maybe it's your body temperature, maybe it's your blood sugar, it could be you drank too much water, that sort of thing. Basically, we'll have that increase, and your body will have a response somehow to try to decrease whatever is increased and bring us back down to normal. Our goal is to get as close to this as possible and return your body. And your body has tons of ways of doing that, and we're going to learn that. Okay. When we drop below something, as we see in the bottom part of the line, generally your body has a response to somehow increase whatever factor is dropping and bring it back to normal. Now, again, how this works out in real life is that we generally are never really at our set points. We kind of just fluctuate during the course of a day, but your body, if it's working well, which for most folks it is, okay, generally they just kind of fluctuate during the course of a day around a certain set point, but they're never perfect, okay? But we do know that exists, and there are numbers that we can find for most things in your body, but we generally fluctuate around them, and we don't feel ill or anything like that because our body just adjusts. And that's homeostasis in a nutshell. And this is why we will use this graph to further investigate homeostasis in the human body.